welcome to Dire Bear. It's Tuesday night, and this year that means we are playing Valley by Night, River City, Vampire 5th Edition actual play. And this year we're going to start off with our session 0. So we're going to introduce you to all the characters while we kind of get introduced to each other. So I'm going to start it off with a roll call. I'll call each of your names. Tell me your character's name and their clan. Rappy.
Hi. My character's name. Iola Spencer. She is a Malkavian. I think what? We said that they were all newly vampires, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fresh-ish.
A few months, couple years, something like that.
She's, I think, a year into this life. And she kind of just came into the area.
Okay. We'll probably flesh out more of where she's from and all that as we go on.
Yeah.
Jeremy.
Oh, hello. I am playing Egidio Luna. We'll see how many names he goes through over the course of this campaign.
I think Egidio I can pronounce.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that for anybody here's sake. I'm saying that because of some stuff he's doing.
Oh, the character may go through the name. I thought you meant have many different ways I would butcher it. I'm sorry. I assumed I was being attacked.
You're good.
Not yet.
Not this time.
Oh, okay.
He is Hekata. He is similar to Iona. From somewhere else. We'll get to that at some point. I have that more or less fleshed out.
Okay. Sarah, who are we
That's
playing?
it for now.
I'm playing Emma Hawthorne. She is a Salubri. She is also from another area, coming down here hunting rumors from various different means and reasons.
Okay, Duba.
Oh, right. Well, I am playing a Nosferatu. I'm being a stealthy boy. And my character in question's name is Walter. As for where he's from, he vaguely remembers living in Huntsville at some point in time, though with his turning, probably no more than, I'd say, about 6 months ago. He's still a little iffy on how he used to be and what have you. He remembers playing football at one point, but having cheerleaders and whatnot, having, that kind of life. But ever since this, he's not been a fan of those muscles he gained in his college career, I'll say.
We'll get into it. At some point, I will ask you what he looks like now.
Boy.
It's always fun with Nosses.
Yeah.
But Eric.
Yes.
Who are you playing?
So I'm going through so many different pages. I'm playing Kyle Adams, a gangrel who was a former mobster and still has contacts with the criminal underworld, but mostly focuses on, now anyway, running his bar, where it's sort of like the unofficial mortal Elysium for the for the more seedy aspects of city life.
So you're a hangout for the local gangs.
Yeah.
When they want to talk amongst themselves without, shooting each other.
Mm-hmm. And there's one rule when it comes to that bar. You don't break the bar, or the owner breaks you. Which, considering he's a gangrel with lethal body,
Not
Not
hard.
that the gangbangers know that.
mm-hmm.
They just know every fight they've seen him in, he's won. So you know.
Yep. Yeah, he kind of has he has a bit of a reputation amongst the mortal criminal elements of the city.
Now, is he from Decatur?
Yes,
Or did he move in? Okay, so he is from Decatur.
he's from Decatur.
The one person
One
from
native.
Decatur.
Yep, he is from Decatur, and that's why he's kind of known.
Oh, Walter might be from Decatur. We don't know yet.
Well, he said he remembered going to school in Huntsville, so
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fair.
he's certainly from the general area.
Yeah.
He could have lived in Decatur, went to college or something in
That's
Huntsville.
true.
There
He
you
could have
go.
lived one place and moved the other. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't sound like he really remembers for sure.
I will add in that said because it's kind of obvious. What one of his flaws is he very much has that aura of being a very dangerous person.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, he probably is a very dangerous person. I had to guess.
Well, yes, but I specifically took that flaw of obvious predator.
Oh, okay. So the mortals recognize something in you. They don't necessarily know what it is, but they know something.
Yeah. Exude a predatory demeanor, and humans instinctively fear and mistrust you. Lose 2 dice from any dice pool for hunting except for purely physical expressions of stalking, chasing, and killing. And lose 1 die from any die pool for any social test intended to put humans at ease, and I cannot maintain a herd at all.
So not going to be our face this time.
No, I am not.
I actually have not necessarily a tangent, but like a side tangent.
Do it.
for
First
it.
one of the year.
Let's
Year
go.
tangent?
It's actually aimed towards Duba. So last I heard, Duba wanted to play Hekata as well. So I'm just curious as to what change, since we're talking about character stuff, where the mind change went. And like I'm all for Walter right now. I love him so far, but
That was the thing, was trying to figure out how I really wanted to play the character and what little bit I know of the Hakata. I thought, okay, yes, it would be probably a challenge, but at the same time, part of me thought, I'd rather do something I kind of have a bit of a better idea, because I feel like I could have played Alexander better if I knew the Nosferatu better.
and
So
now you feel like you know the Nosferatu better now.
I know a little bit better now,
Hmm.
mainly due to the simple fact of thinking of how to build him, because I have actually taken the time to listen to some more videos and then thinking about it, it's like, I think it would be a little more fun to turn around and actually make somebody who could potentially be almost an ambush predator kind of character. Basically, he comes up unseen, you ain't paying attention, and then back to not being seen. Just coming around, continuously ducking and hiding.
I am picturing some helpless mortal walking by a manhole cover. Trapdoor Nos.
Basically.
Is his NOS features spider? Please tell me his NOS features are spider for trapdoor NOS.
I mean, again, he's still a work in progress, so we can work with that.
That'd be hilarious.
Just curious, because like it was like, oh, he's gonna play Hekata, and then all of a sudden, oh, Nos. I mean, play what you want, my guy.
But
We were
Behold,
talking about it
have a
yesterday, and
gangle
he's
coffin.
like,
huh,
we were talking about it yesterday as we're making our characters, because
Mhm.
scatterbrain, and he's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna make a better Nos.
Hell yeah.
And rebuild him.
We have
basically.
the technology.
well, and see, I think I pulled slightly a sock puppet, so hear me out in this regard. So, for his abilities in Obfuscate.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Unseen Passage. Y'all kind of remember what that does. Basically,
Yes.
as long as I don't produce like horrible foul odors or make sound,
Mm-hmm.
then basically, I can move around invisible to the
Yeah,
naked
yeah.
eye.
As long as you don't use
However,
vampire parts out.
However, Silence of Death as a level 1 ability, it doesn't trick cameras or any audio picking up devices. However, it makes him have no sound to the vicinity.
Also took Silence of Death. It's great.
So basically that means with Unseen Passage, using a rouse check and hopefully not screwing that up, and then using that, I eliminate most of my problem, I would think. If I can do both of them at the same time.
Remind
Okay.
me, isn't Unseen Passage a level 1 power?
No, that's 2.
Level 2, okay.
Yeah.
As far as I know, you
okay.
can activate both.
Yeah, if I could activate both, then pretty much besides smelling like a repulsive type of thing, I basically can make myself to where I can turn around and just be like, surprise, oh wait, you didn't hear that. Because it mutes all sound he makes. The only
have to-
thing is he cannot mess with objects because those will produce sounds, but he will not.
So if you grab someone, everyone could hear them screaming.
Yes.
If you put, I think I like the metaphor of if you push them against a chain link fence, the chain link is gonna rattle.
Yeah, the chain link will rattle. However, he won't make noise.
The way it's worded is you have to make a big noise, and I guess that's storyteller discretion to break the ability.
Yeah.
Just
Basically,
hold
like
the box.
Falling off a cliff or something, or screaming at
Yeah.
the top of your lungs.
So slip,
But base-
cracking a door open and slip in and out probably wouldn't make any noise unless the door was alarmed or something.
Yes. But basically, like, if I slam a door or something, that will be heard.
Yes.
Okay.
If I do something
Yeah.
out of the norm and deliberately be loud, then it's just like, well, you just screwed that up.
I'm just imagining, and if I was like, where'd the NOS go? I don't know, but why won't this guy fall down? Talking about the gangrel that's in their face.
Oh,
Let-
another quick question about your characters. What generation are each of your characters?
I think we're all 12.
I think we're all 12th gen.
Yeah, we're just shy of being Thin Bloods.
Wait, no, there's-
16th pin is
Oh,
Thin
no,
Blood.
12th. Yeah,
15th
Then
is
15th
Never mind.
is
Yeah,
been a
just
while.
before Thin Blood.
Been a while.
I thought that's
Yeah.
what we all were because we were
So
just
that
newly.
they
Who
added
else may have
to it
13th?
when we played before. 13th and 14th was Thin Blood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basically now where the 16th is Thin Blood, and then 15 and 14 are pretty much the newer folk.
Okay,
Oh.
so what, 12?
Okay. So
12
we
or 13?
no we if
I mean, that
if 14 and 15 are neonate level,
14 through 16.
14 through
No.
16.
So,
No,
no,
16 is
12th
Thin
and
Blood.
13th is neonate. 14 to 16 is Thin Blood. So we'd be 12th and 13th.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I thought.
okay. Then I misread. That's on me.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I'm 12th gen.
I put down 13th.
Yeah, the generations thing on Roll20 still has it has 14th through 16th listed as 0 blood potency. Well, 12th and 13th have 1.
Well, that blood potency chart did get updated.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see if they updated it on this or not. But that'll be for next week.
That'll be for a job we do halfway through the campaign.
Yeah, when it comes up again.
So I'm looking and I'm like, I could be the face half a year of the group because my charisma's like 4 dots.
Now something fun I'm going to do with my Nosferatu is use the ability of 1,000 Faces, or the Mask of 1,000 Faces, in the Obfuscate.
Show up as a random person.
Yeah, because the beautiful thing is, him at least being able to secure a good haven, which, could literally be anything, but basically it's just nice of the thought of the way I understand the mask working is basically, oh, I basically look like someone who looks like they should be in this area. I don't look out of place.
You don't look like a specific somebody, just somebody that fits in.
The
Okay.
downside to that is the bane of the Nosferatu.
That's what I was saying before. Your bane is you can't change certain things. That's why when you first brought it up, I said, can you use that as a Nos?
I don't see why I couldn't, since I can use obfuscate.
Well, the thing is, the bane for the Nosferatu says you can't manipulate your appearance. You still appear
Nosy.
Ugly.
Yeah. Why are the Nos not in this damn book?
In addition, any attempts to disguise themselves as non-deformed incur a penalty to your dice pool equal to your character's bane severity. This includes
so he could do it,
obfuscate
but
power, mask of 1,000 faces, and imposter's guise.
So it wouldn't stop him from using it. It'd be a little harder for him to use it than if one of y'all had it and could use, and use it.
I mean, if he wanted to change the way he looks, but still looks deformed, he won't have that issue. But if he tries to make
I look
himself
like a normal guy with
not
horrible
deformed,
burns now.
yes.
I mean, maybe it's just
You're
kind of goes
deformed.
with the knowledge of, what people in certain areas wear or something like that. Kind of more like the body language versus the facial appearance.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I can imagine, because in my mind, I was kind of imagining him kind of almost looking like way too big of a bulky figure kind of person. But I would imagine with the Mask of 1,000 Faces, if he could just kind of get rid of some of the ugliness just a small bit, and just kind of look just like, ooh, man, you a big fella. It's like, I had conditions.
So one of his features is that he's overly muscled.
Basically, that's why he regrets his muscles, is because he's now a little too big.
Now my question is, does he look like somebody on steroids that skipped leg day? Hey, Vancouver by night.
Hey, Vancouver by night. What's up?
Hello.
Man, it didn't take you long to find us this time at all.
You found us again. You found us again.
Yes, you did. Hello.
Welcome back.
But actually, you're not far off. Basically, he looks a lot bigger in the upper body than he does the lower.
The Dorito.
Are his legs comedically small, or do they just look kind of normal? And then
they look more normal-ish. He himself just kind of looks like a big SOB.
You know what I picture as you're describing that? Anthony Birkin, the boss fight from Resident Evil 2. The big upper body and the human-sized legs.
You wouldn't be far off from how I'm imagining.
If you had an eyeball right here, you'd be right on point.
I can't find any pictures, sorry. I was hoping for drawings, but there's no drawing.
Hang on.
I am going to throw y'all a...
Oh, William Birkin, sorry.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna put some body horror in chat, so...
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I'm gonna put it behind spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I pictured. Yeah.
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 Yeah, maybe not with the eyeball, though.
Yeah, that's it. It could just be sinew.
Alright, so anyway, we figured out more or less what Dicka, or what Walter looks like. Alright.
It makes sense for him to not have a last name, then.
Well, it sounds like his memory's a little shredded, so...
Well, again, when you go through a very painful... disfiguring once you've been claimed by Nos, you're going to want to probably forget a few things.
Alright, well, let's get started on the relationship map. And just to throw this out there, because I know y'all know, but to throw this out there for anybody watching, this go around, we are set in Decatur, Alabama, still in the Tennessee Valley. This is the last campaign we ran, or last chronicle we ran. Of course, was set in Huntsville. It was set during 2019. This one is set during 2020. And
I was gonna say probably a fair warning if those of you who may have been adversely affected by the pandemic, it's probably gonna come up at some point. Not like it's not gonna affect us because we're vampires, but
no.
might have.
You'll be dealing with some of the social ramifications of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yes.
hunting-wise, it might affect us, but
But as a
But
refresher on Decatur, I was going to point out that Decatur is a contested city. There are several Anarch Barons set up with the remnants of the Camarilla Primogen still holding parts of the city.
Mhm.
And I'll get into some of the different barons and whatnot later. Or at least I'll give you the big time guys. Because in an Anarch city, you might have like one city block, and that might be your turf. You might have a bar in its parking lot. Yeah, there's just no telling. There are similarities between how a Camarilla city works, but it is not the same. All right, so for the relationship map, I hope everybody's got a sheet of paper and a pencil.
does a Word document count?
Yeah, I suppose that would work.
No, that does
What I
seem
have.
easier than typing everything else out.
MS Paint might work.
Time to crank out the Rolodex.
Yeah, so are you still gonna be in charge of the Rolodex, or do we need to appoint a new Rolodex here?
Thematically, you might want to have a new Rolodex here. I'll be keeping track of the people that Kyle needs to know for his work. But Kyle is very much not the face of our group of vampires like Samuel was. So it will not be nearly as important for me to remember everything.
Just plead rude gangrel.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so however you want to do it, I don't know if it's going to be visible.
Well, that's kind of there.
Yeah, hard to see.
Yeah.
Well, you need to jot down the names of everybody in the group. Last time we did this, we did it before Duba joined us, rather. And so you basically made a square with everybody's name in the corners. This go around, if you're drawing it, I would suggest kind of a star pattern, because we'll be drawing lines between the names.
AGI.
Weird isosceles star bullshit.
You know what? Paint. Let's do this.
All right.
I'm feeling froggy. Let's use paint.
The kind of chaotic energy this game needs. Because it just doesn't have enough right now, apparently.
All right. So we've got everybody in the coterie. So yeah, write down their names. Draw a line between your character and two of the other characters.
Okay.
Write a positive relationship on one side of the arrow. I wonder if we need to stop and go over personalities before y'all do some of this.
Might help.
Yeah. I'm thinking last time we may have talked it out more pre-game.
We've definitely had a lot of pre-gaming.
So Sarah, tell us a little bit about Emma. Just kind of her basic personality.
She is very much the healer. She does not have any real offensive vampiric powers aside from just general vampiric stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She can cast a gun very well, just because her sire kind of forced her to learn something that would be a defense.
Okay.
Very.
So does that make her timid, or?
She's very soft-spoken just because she doesn't know what happened to her sire. She doesn't know if he's dead, if he has just disappeared. And being a salubri and being kind of hunted, she's trying to keep as out of the spotlight as possible.
Okay.
She's not going to go up to someone and shake their hand and be like, "Hi, I'm a salubri."
Wink.
Just one wink. Wears a lot of hats, scarves, beanies.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Eric, give us a little bit of Kyle's personality.
Where to begin? Okay. Basically very gruff and well, best way to put it is I could actually pull up his convictions, the things that he believes in the most. One of them is none may control me, nor will I be bound. And the other is never take someone at their word. Their actions will tell their worth.
Well, the first one sounds very Anarch. The second one sounds very Gangrel.
Yeah. So if that gives you a pretty decent idea, he's very much, I am my own person. I am the master of my own fate. You can suggest things to me, but never tell me to do something or try to control me. And for him, it's the things you do more than the things you say. So, like, there's some of the clans that rely very heavily on, mental powers, for example. He has a deep distrust of, because they rely more on using that power to kind of brute force their will on people, as opposed to the actually doing things. He outright refuses to deal in favors. He will never do things for a favor. He will never call in favors. His thing is, you pay me, and then we'll talk. So if another vampire comes like, hey, I want you to do this, and I'll owe you something down the road, he's like, no, you pay me in cash. I'm doing this for a paycheck, not because you want me to owe you one.
Sounds like favors with hips.
Yeah. So
All
like
right.
either you pay him or he won't do it. Very mercenary kind of criminalistic lifestyle.
Sounds like he does not trust people to pay him back necessarily. So if they want
Yeah.
something, they gotta compensate you up front.
Well, with his background of having being very deeply entrenched in the criminal element of the city for a majority of his life, that's absolutely something he learned. So it's you pay him up front or he don't do it.
All right, Duba. Now you've already told us that Walter's not real happy with his physical form.
Yeah,
What effect has that
no.
had on his personality? Since you said he used to be a jock.
Yeah, so he kind of used to have that arrogant attitude and what have you, but after like seeing what he's become, he's thinking, okay, maybe I got punished for being an arrogant SOB through life. Maybe I need to be a little bit more humble and whatnot,
Good.
But he is a firm believer of the fact of which, like, if you've done something, you're going to be held accountable. Okay, you guilty, you're going to get your punishment one way or another.
He kind of believes in karma.
Oh yeah, he believes in it heavily because he feels like what has happened to him is karma itself for just how he was.
Love that.
It's like, okay, apparently somebody saw me and said, hey, you effed up. Guess what? Have fun with this. And now it's just like, well, about that.
Does he know who his sire is? I mean, that's something we'll get into later. I'm just curious. Or is it just kind of his memories before his embrace that are messed up?
It's pretty much his memories before the embrace that's messed up. As of actually thinking of a sire on me, I haven't really done anything. If you have free time, before next session, I'll happily work something out with you. Maybe we can throw an interesting design together.
Mystery sire.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Because again, you got turned into a Nos. It was painful. You might be a little pissed off at the person that did it to you, but at the same time, if you're left alone and you don't know what the crap just happened and you just kind of realize, ooh, I'm an ugly SOB now, I don't think people going to like me too much.
Well,
lot
also,
of-
if you've been a Nos for 6 months, that would put
Well-
you back.
Well, that's my thing is, I messed up on knowing, so I have adjusted the generation, so I'll adjust the time frame.
Okay. Yeah, but if you're a Nos from
Okay.
Huntsville 6 months ago, that puts you in the last campaign
Oh, boy.
when the Nos were at war with everybody else.
Good times. Good times.
So I'm just saying, you may or may not know who your sire is, or may have just barely known him, and then
Oh,
may
yeah,
have
'cause
gotten whacked.
Weren't the Nos making a bunch of illegal chowder?
They were.
Yeah, yes, they were.
There we
Look at that. There you go.
It's
Look
all
at
coming
that.
full
That's
circle.
true.
It
Him being
writes
illegal,
itself.
he might have had to flee Huntsville.
I was fixed to say, we can make that work if you want. I'm fine with doing that angle.
There may be a large Huntsville Nos expat community down here in Decatur.
Some weird bunch of that weird coterie up there just totally screwed it up for everybody.
Jeremy.
Egidio kind of, in my mind, is like the stereotypical, like, cold demeanor of, like, the stiff, like, coroner type. At least, when there's a body. When there's a body to investigate, or, to, whether it's kindred, whether it's kind, whether it's a fucking werewolf, he goes into this, like, almost like he'll flip a switch and he becomes this, like, rigid, cold, unfeeling person while he works his magic. But otherwise he's quite affable. Maybe a nice guy.
Maybe a psychopath.
Maybe. He, in his past life, was a forensics graduate. So
even as a mortal, he may have had this switch.
yeah,
Okay.
it may have just, like, turned it to 11. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
But
and for those of you,
outside of when he puts his work face on, he's pretty easy to get along with.
he's a pretty easygoing individual. Whether that is because he has ulterior motives or not,
Time will undoubtedly tell. All right,
We'll
Rappy.
see.
What is Iola like?
She's kind of aloof, I guess. Like, she gives off that she is aloof, but she kind of isn't. She listens and remembers, pays attention to the best of her ability, being Malkavian. I know we have to figure out because reading back. Like, I think that's really it. Like, she comes off like aloof, or like kind of not aloof, then like kind of whimsical, where she doesn't look like she's really paying attention to the surroundings or to people talking around her, but she does.
She seems a little flighty.
Yeah, she appears flighty, but she's not.
I'm picturing this one chick from Harry Potter.
Luna Lovegood, I was just about to
Luna
say.
Lovegood.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And she just pops off with obligatory wisdom. It's like, okay, yeah, sure.
I mean,
We're paying
it
attention.
works. It works though. You say a random that's actually what I could see her like just oh this, and then down the road you're like, oh, that's
Children in the playground? What? No.
Does Iola feel about children in the playground?
she just kind of has been in the area more recently, so she really hasn't traversed much.
I think they're referencing the Dead Children's Playground from up in Huntsville.
I know
Yeah.
that's no that I know. She hasn't really gone into Huntsville to kind of see the area to visit the playground.
Now, one more question, kind of directed to all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you an Anarch? I mean, some of them pretty obvious. Kyle's whole personality screams
Girl.
Anarch, and
They
your
don't-
entire clan.
They don't like me over there.
Well, to be
Oh.
fair, with the gangrel,
Otter's dipping out. See you later, Otter.
Bye,
Otter.
Otter.
Thanks for
See
coming by.
Otter.
yeah. Although, to be fair, with the gangrel, it wasn't so much. We're gonna be anarchs now because freedom. It was more. Oh, so the Camarilla just lied to us. Because we all just felt our clan, our clan Methuselah, wake up.
Antediluvian.
Or antediluvian, that's the word. Thank you. Yeah, I said that. I went, wait a minute.
Even bigger.
Yeah, because didn't the entire clan feel their antediluvian wake up?
One of them encountered it. He made a big deal about it, and then he wound up dead shortly after. And others have been running into him sometimes when they earth mail, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he supposed to be? Isn't the antediluvian supposed to be like somewhere in the New York sewers, or was that retconned?
I don't remember if it
No,
was that one. That may have been the
that's-
Zemitzi.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's the Zemitzi one.
Okay,
The
Not that any of your characters would know about that anyway.
fair.
the gangrel antediluvian in some circles is technically considered to be Gaia.
Yeah, the vampires may consider that. I doubt the werewolves would back you up on that.
The
Oh no,
werewolves
the
would-
werewolves
Vampires would
absolutely
fuck her,
wouldn't.
yeah.
But the gangrel, there's some like in like their long oral tradition history of telling stories where it's like I forget the what
Well,
word
we're getting
they
off
used.
on a tangent anyway.
Sorry, yeah.
What? Tangents? Come on now.
Yeah,
Alright.
weird.
Duba, I think in our previous question to you, we kind of figured out why you're probably an Anarch.
Yeah, a little bit.
Being an illegal child would probably have Huntsville's new scourge hunting you down if you had stayed in Huntsville.
A little bit.
And while it would be kind of fun to have Rappy hunt you down as Maeve, since you got out of town, she doesn't have
Full
to.
circle.
Full circle.
So you'll need to decide, in the upcoming weeks or whatever, if he likes being an Anarch, if he prefers the Anarchs to the Camarilla, or if he even had enough of a taste of one or the other to know which way he'd want to go.
Okay.
Or if he's just sort of scrambling for a safe place.
Ooh, excuse me. I mean, as of right now, definitely scrambling for a safe place. But, well, I'll give it a couple sessions once we actually dig real good into
Mhm.
a couple of scenes of this chronicle and kind of play it from there.
Okay, let's jump down to Emma, though Emma's pretty obvious why she would be.
Dem Tremere up there, she's not having any part of, first off.
Well, there are some Tremere that have joined
Yeah, but
the Anarchs, but they're pretty few and far between.
yeah. And while she hasn't had a lot of encounters just with large groups of vampires in general, just kind of hearing the difference in how the groups kind of treat each other, especially like Thin Bloods, and what she sees as like you kind of need to take care of those weaker than you and the way that they get treated. It's still horrible, but it's better than in the Camarilla.
Mhm.
They're not getting branded around here, so.
So she might not be like a super enthusiastic Anarch. It's just sort
Yeah.
of lesser of evils.
Yeah.
Okay. Rappy. Why is Iola... tripped over her name now.
Mhm.
Why is Iola
Mine-
an Anarch?
My Iola will be the hard name you have to.
It shouldn't be, but anyway.
Just kind of like follow where the wind takes you, and just kind of took her here.
Okay. Has she fallen in with the local Malkavians?
No, she just probably got into town
Okay.
maybe a week ago or something like that.
Okay. So she's really just sort of an Anarch by default.
Yeah.
She hasn't really been a joiner, and this is the place that not joiners can kind of do the thing.
Yes.
Okay. Jeremy, Egidio, what is he? Why is he an Anarch?
I think he's an Anarch because it was suggested that he go to Alabama, and he's just kind of making his way up. He probably heard stories about the Camarilla. It doesn't really function the same way where he's from. It's just like a bunch of sects, not sects in the way that the Camarilla and Anarch are. They're lesser organizations running around.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't really have first-hand experience of the Ivory Tower just yet. But he knows enough that it's like, probably don't want to be around those guys. They probably won't appreciate a body potentially coming up from the dead. No one really will, but like, I won't get staked for it here, as far as he knows.
We'll find out if that's true or not. But so he's another one that just kind of like, what little bit I know about it, this seems like the lesser of evils, at least from my perspective.
And he's already used to like the smaller tight knit communities, so it's probably what is bringing him closer towards an Anarch bent, okay. We'll say.
Now we're gonna kick y'all off. I'll give you this little bit of detail before we jump into the relationship map. Kind of over on the western side of Decatur. I mean, not all the way over there, but basically it's the area I'm putting Kyle's bar.
Wait, double click it again?
I think it's, let's see, somewhere around here. Might be something like that. I'll have a more zoomed in map.
In that general northern Decatur area.
But and eventually I'll get it where I've colored in kind of the areas that are who runs what areas.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be arguably more important in an Anarch campaign.
Yeah. But anyway, y'all are going to be based kind of over in that area. A big chunk of that area is just sort of open territory. Anybody that wanders in can hunt. Now, if you use your coterie pool to buy a domain, it will be over. It'll be a section of that area kind of cut off for you. Depending on how big you make it. Though the first storyline will start off before y'all are like officially given that territory. I mean, Kyle will have its bar. Because it's going to be kind of an intro. As of this moment,
The
we're
party
gonna say,
meet everybody in a tavern.
Hey, let's go.
at this point, we're going to say you have all bumped into each other in and around the area.
Mm.
You know, bumped into each other. Y'all
Same hat,
spoken a
same
little
hat.
bit. Maybe you've had to scrap with a few Camarilla guys. No big lethal smackdown, no big commotion, but something where you kind of know each other. You kind of know y'all are on the same team at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
And up to y'all, it can be y'all can know each other a little better than that. Going into the, as we map this out. But it's not quite the last Chronicle where most of you had pretty firm, you'd all been living in the city for a while, so you all had kind of firmer connections.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's see, y'all should have all the character names written down.
Important
Yeah.
question. Does the area around the bar have a Waffle House?
God.
There are 3 Waffle Houses in Decatur. I forget exactly where they're at.
Okay.
There's a Chick-fil-A almost right next door to the bar, though.
I don't know if they would appreciate... Well, I don't know.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a Chick-fil-A nearby, that's perfectly fine. Why? Because it's the large chicken. I mean, what?
Absolutely not.
Actually,
Yeah, like I'm saying, the
um,
vampires might not be appreciated with the Lord's chicken.
Why can't we go close to that restaurant? Why are they holding up chicken sandwiches at us like they're crossing?
you know what's funny?
Uh,
There is a Waffle House very, very close to there. I literally just looked it up on the map. It's very close to where you clicked. There's a Waffle House.
It was deigned by fate.
Well, if your map shows you where the Decatur Mall is, that was where I was trying to click.
Oh, okay. Let me pull that up again.
I'm basically putting your bar in a shutdown Pizza Hut.
Oh, hell yeah.
Works for me.
Next to the Spirit Halloween.
go ahead and get your discount costumes here, folks.
All right. Relationship map.
Yes.
All right. Rappy. Pick one of the other characters
Okay.
and draw a line to them.
Is this a blue line?
Of your choice.
If you're doing the color code, I suppose it could be. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if they give a.
I'm color coding because I don't know how to draw a map on Google Docs.
Oh, we're right next to we're literally almost right next to a hospital.
Yeah, just look it down for one.
Code no. But yeah, just a little bit south of Danville Road, there's a Waffle House. So
Yeah, you are fairly close to the border between one of the baronies or some of the Anarch controlled area and some Camarilla controlled area.
So the way I know we're doing the relationship map, and I'm sorry for interrupting, but the way I'm understanding this is there is territory that is specifically has a barony there, and there is Anarch controlled territory that's open season.
Yes.
Okay.
Anarch territories tend to be a little overpopulated.
Fair enough.
And in the current state of the city is currently at war, essentially. The 2 or 3 most powerful barons are running stuff a little more than they would be under normal circumstances. The only tradition that they are very firm in upholding is the masquerade itself. But anyway, so Rappy, who are you drawing the line to first?
Emma.
All right, so Iola to Emma. All right. So you need one positive and one negative about this person.
Scully, why? Scully, why? Where's my dice? Bag of dice. The positive is she seems very sweet, kind of giving off the nice kind of vibes, like, you know, she's not gonna stab you in the back type vibe.
So like sweet / trustworthy.
Yes.
Okay. And a negative.
Negative. Negative.
Horrible taste in hats.
Yeah, the fact that she does just wear hats all the time, because I don't think we've introduced ourselves to each other, let us know who we are. But
yeah, y'all would have bumped, like I said, bumped into each other, spoken to each other. You might know each other's names.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a week, you know, a few weeks at least.
She feels like there's a secrecy behind her, you know. She's trustworthy,
but not necessarily open.
Yeah, not open. Like she's not telling all information or very, you know.
Closed off / has secrets.
Yes.
Okay. Walter.
Yes.
Who would you like to draw a line to?
That's a good question. This is gonna be new for me since I didn't get to have fun with this the last time. Okay, so we'll say Kyle. We'll draw a line to them.
God.
Slap cat.
That's why cats are outside things.
Well, Cat decided to be like, Dad, your lap's open? Perfect. Yeet! It's like, no, I'm actually writing, Cat. You're being a nuisance.
Your cat doesn't know what you're doing. He only knows, or she only knows that you're paying attention to something that's not them.
You are correct.
He's like, so Mom didn't. Sorry.
What is a positive? What is something positive Walter feels about Kyle?
I would say Walter would think Kyle is a reliable, like the reliable one of the group. Like if I need something, that man's got it.
All right.
You're never gonna end a conversation with him like, huh? I really wonder what he was thinking when he said that.
Nope. He blunt. He very blunt.
But Walter likes that, so he phrases it as, he seems reliable. That's straightforward. Yeah. All right. What is something negative Walter might think about Kyle?
Bunch of weirdos in this fucking bar.
Too reliable.
I'm trying to think. Oh.
So some negative descriptor examples would be mistrust. You could be in competition over someone's affection. You could feel a need to upstage him. Wants his blood doll, though he doesn't have one. I'm just reading off the examples.
No, I get what you're saying. Again, Walter likes him for the straightforwardness and the fact that he seems reliable, but at the same time, he seems reliable. But at the same time, Walter would have this sense of I would say, kind of a mistrust in the regard of I feel like if I got on his wrong side or even remotely pissed him off, I may not get back home.
Like you may not like
dangerous
the criminal element of him.
I mean that could also play into his obvious predator flaw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you think he's fairly reliable. You know, he's going to tell you what he thinks. He's
He's gonna be straightforward with me, but at the same time, if I feel like I'm gonna piss him off, I ain't making it out that door.
On
yeah.
that point,
So reliable but dangerous.
on
Yeah.
that point, Duba, this is more of a note for Jason, you as the storyteller. When it comes to fury frenzies with Kyle, depending on the trigger, you can probably count on him just riding the wave of the frenzy. Just to let you know.
He says he's gangrel, but he's really half Bruja.
Like quarter Bruja somewhere.
All right.
Hung out
It-
too long with Brujas.
I get that
it's-
sprinkle in.
It's more of his lifestyle plus gangrel by nature are very close to the beast. Anyway.
All right. Jeremy,
Ooh.
who would you like to
I-
draw to?
Draw my line to Iola.
Iola. All right. What is something positive you think about Iola?
Egidio, being a practitioner of the occult, has absolutely heard about the Malkavians and their bane, I guess,
Mhm.
or their quirk, and always finds Iola fascinating to listen to, and tries to keep a note of what she is saying for the future.
So fascination.
Fascination, yes.
And what would be something negative?
I think he finds Iola equally as fascinating as he does frustrating.
So fascinating and frustrating. That's good.
For most of the same reason.
All right. Who have I not let draw? Emma. Yeah, Emma and Kyle. That's what we got there.
Question before that.
Mhm.
How much of his medical background would Egidio let on to?
See, as much as you'd ask. If you want it to be like, oh, he's like,
Well-
if you ever asked him, he'd be like, oh yeah, I graduated from Ciudad de Mexico.
Because he also has medical background, so I'm going to draw a line to Egidio, because she would appreciate the same kind of like medical background, being able to kind of flip a switch to go into a certain mode. At the same time, she thinks he may have broken that switch and is afraid that flipping it too many times, it may just become permanently broken.
All right. So she likes his professionalism.
Yeah, appreciates like the medical camaraderie and stuff, but she's afraid may just be totally tossing the Hippocratic Oath out the window, and she's convinced there's something going on.
Who knows?
Appreciates his professional.
Like medical camaraderie, just can share kind of the same references and stuff like that, but
Professional camaraderie.
thinks
But
worries
about his mental state.
She thinks becoming a vampire may have affected his humanity far greater than it's affected like her own, and is going more against like the medical stuff that she'd been taught while she was still alive.
Okay, so worries about his humanity.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just her overall worrying about everyone's humanity. That's her blanket worry.
Yeah, I'd put down appreciates medical professionalism, but fears he violated his oath.
Kyle, who would you like to draw a line to?
Hmm. Honestly, there's two people that stand out the most to me.
Well, everybody's gonna get to do two of these lines eventually. So just pick who you want to go do first.
Fair enough. Emma
All right.
would be his first line.
So
then
Kyle to Emma. And what is something positive Kyle thinks about Emma?
he very much appreciates her sort of kind-hearted nature and her want to care for people.
Kind. All right.
Because that's, at least for him, from his human life, that's something that he saw that was very rare. So it's something he can appreciate when he does find it.
And what is something negative?
He feels that she's a bit naive when it comes to the more seedier aspects of the nightlife of the city.
Okay. All right. I think everybody has drawn one. Yes. So we'll go back to Rappy. Pick someone else to draw a line to.
How do you pronounce it again, Deca?
Egidio.
Egidio?
Egidio.
Egidio.
Yes.
We're just gonna be calling him E by the end of the campaign. Watch.
I have a couple of
Dio.
I have a couple of fill-ins. Don't worry.
All right. So Iola to Egidio. What is something positive she thinks about him?
He doesn't treat her differently. Like how some other kindred will look upon a Malkavian and, wacky crazy. He doesn't treat her differently for, when she, zones out or
Okay.
whatever.
And some of that could be coming from his medical background.
His fascination with her talking. Doesn't chalk it up to her being crazy.
Now, what's a negative that she thinks about him? Or feels about him, or whatever.
His humanity, really, yeah.
This
That he has humanity, but that he could definitely dive off the deep end.
So basically, when he goes cold like that worries her.
Yeah.
So she's worried about his coldness.
Well, that's two people.
Just both over in the corner, like with the concerned face.
The thing is, when you have a Malkavian concerned about your mental state,
Not my mental state, just my humanity.
One could argue as to how different it actually is. Who did I do?
when it comes to vampires,
Oh, I know.
Walter. Who else would you like to draw a line to?
We'll say Emma. Why not? As I have to try and do this around a cat. Yeah.
All right. What is a positive something Walter feels about Emma?
Now I'm gonna feel
Again.
bad when she just stabs all of you.
I'm not.
No, because keeping an eye out for those secrets.
Stop, cat. Stop it. I would say positive thing would potentially be again, I could be, mislabeling or not thinking, but potentially that she kind of doesn't really look at him as a mutant.
That's fair.
She looks at him and she's like, "No, you're just like the rest of us. You got screwed over or pulled into this lot. You just drew a short straw."
Doesn't scream and run away.
The bar is in
Basically.
hell.
All right.
I'm not gonna run just because you got beat by the ugly stick into your vampire life.
They'd probably have a camaraderie just because even though they're both hunted for, or not hunted, but like defined by
How they
certain visible characteristics.
Now, what is something negative he thinks about her?
Mm.
Quick, pull a string.
No, I had to think on it.
Raffy, run into the other room, wind him back up.
Other room.
Just lean over and poke him in the head.
Oh, that's right. I keep thinking about y'all's last place where y'all were in separate rooms.
They're technically still in the same room, just on opposite ends of it.
Yeah, so you had to get up and actually walk further. I would say that she might be hiding secrets, and in that regard, because her being a medical person, she might know things that could help him, and he wants to know, does she know it? Can she tell me something?
So he thinks she's keeping secrets, but it's kind of he's almost self-centered in it because he's thinking she might know secrets that'd help him that she's keeping.
Yeah,
No,
basically
good
it's
plastic
more of a,
surgeon. A really good plastic surgeon.
Really good.
Keeps things from you. All right.
yeah.
Alrighty. Egidio, who else would you like your line to?
I am going to put a line towards Walter.
Okay.
I break out the curvy lines now.
Mm-hmm. I'm having to do that in paint. This is getting interesting.
See, now I want to see the paint one afterwards.
Whoop.
All right. What is something positive that you think about Walter?
Walter is correct me if I'm wrong, Duba, but it sounds like you're doing like a strength-based build.
You'd be correct.
So in seeing the kind of like brick shithouse, that's not me this time. Egidio's like sees that and is like, that's someone I can get to have my back.
Tactical
That is
Nosferatu.
that is a useful Nosferatu to have at my side.
Yep. You can go ahead and just nickname label Tactical Nos.
So,
I mean, he's going to practically be a guerrilla fighter, so I mean, he's going to
Yeah.
use strategy to his advantage.
so
He's sitting here, Kyle, with
useful
4
to have in your
strength.
corner.
Yes, useful, very useful.
What's
It
something
is-
negative you think about Walter?
He's butt fucking ugly.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, that's what it is. You'll always notice Egidio is like looking in 2 places at once. We'll look at Walter whenever he's visible, and is kind of like looking like 3/4 of the way away.
Like, won't stare directly at him.
Yeah,
But still, Jared's in the vicinity.
yeah. It's like there.
All right.
Doesn't have a problem like touching like him if the need arises. Just can't quite get his eyes fixated on the Nos. For one reason or for any amount of reasons.
Is Egidio a bit like put together?
Ugliest scene.
Yes.
Okay.
We'll get to that in a bit. He's not like Toreador levels, but he looks well off.
Takes pride in how they represent
so-
themselves.
Something you'll notice about him is that he has, despite how well he is dressed, he has accoutrements that look scattered. Like he has a cane, but he can walk
Mm.
just fine. For example, he has a nice like winter coat, but he's from Mexico, where famously they don't,
Wear winter coats
yeah.
unless a freak ice age happens.
Does he have the big like coat from the one scene from Anastasia, the animated one?
Oh jeez,
Like, it is me, Anastasia.
he does now.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
I just like the
me sitting
fact.
here-
No, go ahead.
I'm sitting here going, Kyle's not the most well dressed guy ever. But he's usually just like boots, jeans, and a hoodie.
Let me see.
I just like the fact that Egidio is can just turn off his it's a mutilated corpse. Turn off my emotions. Hey Walter, oh crap, he's ugly.
See, but the corpse isn't moving.
He's
He makes it
moving.
move.
I can handle
He's
that ugly as
moving
long as
and-
it's dead, but
He's moving, and I didn't will him to move. There's a difference.
nothing that ugly should be moving on its own.
Oh, jeez. So I'm just getting the feeling that Egidio. Did I get that right? Yes. Okay. I get the feeling that he's very much racist against Nos.
Not racist. They're useful.
But
Doesn't appreciate looking at them.
He
It's
doesn't
not their
appreciate.
fault. It's not their fault that the Curse of Cain made them butt ugly. He's just gonna react to it in the way he does.
fair.
I will also say he's resources 3, so he's got some money.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle has resources too, but that's mostly because Bar.
He owns his own business.
Bar revenue.
Yeah, he owns his own business. That's specifically why he has one skill point in finance. Because one of the things on there is can run your own business. I'm like, yeah, makes sense. Check.
All right, Emma. Who else would you like to draw a line to?
We'll draw one to Kyle.
Okay. What's a positive that you think about Kyle?
Appreciates quote unquote helping the city with what he does. It's helpful. It might not be the best way to help, but it's still helpful.
I love appreciates the help.
He doesn't agree with like his criminal element of it, but she appreciates that he's maybe turning that to a positive.
Or at least keeping a lid on things?
Yeah, at least like
Yeah.
acting as a buffer, or trying to keep it from getting all out craziness.
So helpful
She
to the city.
appreciates that element. Appreciates kind of like being, I don't know, emissary, middleman, mediator.
Okay. And what's a negative she feels about him?
That's a feeling out of all of them, he would probably fall the first. Just because of, probably doesn't know as a gangrel, but just kind of gets that feeling.
Like he'd be
Like,
the first one off.
Intuit.
Yeah,
Intuit the beast.
yeah, just the beast may not do it purposefully, but that the beast is just going to eat him.
Or they're the same person. They're just like
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're just
looking at each other in the mirror.
Vulnerable to
sharing the
beast.
body.
Okay. And Kyle.
Me sitting there thinking, that's absolutely fair, considering I just mentioned if he flies into a fury, he's probably just going to ride the wave.
Can't wait till he gets cat ears from that.
Dog ears, actually, but yes.
Broken.
Hold on, I need to put this arrow in here. Okay. Iola.
Okay. All the way across to Iowa.
Yeah, the arrows are going everywhere. It's out of control right now.
I have finally got a complete 5-point star made out of that with that line though.
Nice.
Bingo!
I don't have a star, but I have a weird little map that's got like a nose. I'll share it.
Well,
when I'm
y'all are
done.
only putting down y'all. Well, I'm marking it down everybody. So.
Oh, no, I'm putting down everybody's.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was just marking mine, but you guys give me the info so I can fix it.
I'm literally writing everybody's down.
All right, so Kyle, what is a positive that you think about her?
He appreciates her unique insight on things.
All right, unique insight. And what is a negative that he feels about her?
He does not like that said insight seems to at times just control her.
So her lack of control. Okay. All right, that's got us a lot of useful stuff that I can use. I mean, y'all can use it too, but I don't care about that.
Well, that's the thing I've always loved, especially about the vampire side of World of Darkness, is a huge chunk of it is absolutely just roleplay.
I mean, like,
And then if you
werewolf
didn't
this
have to that,
right
if you
now
hit
is
somebody with a car,
nice.
you can.
Well, yeah, but werewolf is
We
more like
both.
combat oriented, because you're literally fighting like outer gods. But well, outer gods, the Wyrm. But anyway, the vampire is very much a social game. It
Werewolf can
encourages
be.
roleplay.
You know,
Yeah.
The one Werewolf Chronicle I was in, you know, we did a lot of role playing. I mean, we were also going through the apocalypse, so there was a lot of fighting. But
Yeah.
because we were playing that Chronicle just as all the end time stuff was coming out, or just after it all came out.
Yeah. The only
Like a book or during COVID?
Yes.
the only
when they were killing off the original World of Darkness.
Okay.
Yeah. The only werewolf game I played, I remember I was the I don't remember the exact name of their sort of breed of Garou. It's the shamans that were born under the new moon. I can't remember.
You mean their auspice?
Yes, they're auspice.
I forget which one the new moon one is.
Yeah, but I was that. But I remember the final like boss was we actually ended up teaming up with a group of Gangrel. Our clan teamed up with a group of Gangrel because we were both hunting an abomination.
Yeah, I think we wound up. It was our pack, some Quajin, some hunters, and some weird little girl wound up rebooting the world, basically into Exalted. Which was one of the suggestions in some of the books that you could kind of do.
Yeah.
Because he was picking and choosing, because they all those books gave you kind of a multiple choice endings, and he was picking and choosing through all of them as to what was going on.
Makes sense.
Back to this one, though.
Yeah.
All right. Now I am going to go through and ask you each about your sire.
Okay. I will be right back.
Okay, Kyle's got daddy issues, clearly. Emma, we will start with you, because I figure you for sure have put some thought into your sire.
She's, up until probably about a year ago, she was basically not separated from her sire. He was also a medical professional. Probably lived through World War II. As actually concentration camp victim. Got out of that, somehow got bitten between after that, and yeah.
So professional medical World War II camp survivor.
Learned, all the basics about being a vampire, respect the masquerade, respect, the people in authority, but also with them both being salubri, not so much don't get attached, but be ready to have to hide.
Okay. And what was his name? Or her name. No, I think you said it.
Yeah, I wrote it down and now I'm gonna forget it. I have it in my Jacob Bach.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that written down somewhere earlier.
Said she probably woke up one night and could not get in touch with him. Looked around for a little while and fell back on the salubri, kind of hide, and heard that there had been a salubri down in Decatur area, and headed down that way to see if she could make contact, see if maybe they knew anything about him or anything like that.
All right, so he is missing. Medical professional, War II survivor, missing.
And she's not sure if he's dead or just missing, or
Where did
I'll let you.
Okay. Where did she hear the rumors of another salubri indicator? Was it something her sire had mentioned, or?
Yeah, he'd mentioned, that he'd heard about one being down in Alabama, and she started traveling that way, and then probably heard about everything going on up in Huntsville.
Did
Just
she go
through
through
very-
Huntsville, or did she just hear enough of it from people on the outside that she was like, I'm going to skip there?
Probably heard enough about what was going on there to be like, probably not going to be appreciated there that much. I'm just going to keep on moving. That, and there was a large Tremere presence. So even though even though she hasn't personally had any interactions, one-on-one with Tremere, she's still wary of them just because of
They're still the
history.
boogeyman she's been warned about.
Yeah, she's been warned, they pretty much screwed it up for us. She's not going to go out of her way to make friends with Tremere. She's going to go out of her way to get as far away from any Tremere as possible and possibly hits in the corner.
All right. So that is.
Oh, hey, I redeemed a hydrate. Let's go.
Cheers.
I just hydrated.
I'm drinking constantly anytime I'm running a game.
Good for the hydration, bad for the bladder.
Yeah, I ate some pretzels, and I was like, you know what? I'm thirsty. I've got like 20,000 channel points, so let me redeem a hydrate with that.
All right, so we got Emma's sire. Let's go.
I leave to you to decide if he's dead or alive and going to come back to haunt us.
Or show up to kill you all because he's gone, bat dupe crazy. Yeah, whatever.
It checks out.
I'm gonna need that info later since I missed it.
I'll text it to you.
Hey.
All right, Jeremy.
Hi.
Tell us about your sire.
Egidio's sire is presumably still in Mexico. Had a she kind of taught him everything. Her name is Raquel Mendez.
Spell that, please.
Raquel. Mendez with an S.
Oh yeah, this was on your character sheet, wasn't it? I saw
Yes.
that earlier. That's right.
Yep.
Okay.
She, as a kindred, choosing her next child, appreciated his straight-laced demeanor, like the coldness he has when he's like examining a body, because she discovered him when he was still on his way to graduating out of Ciudad de Mexico, and embraced shortly after that, after he graduated. And she is somewhat desperate for him to be not a chosen one, so to speak, but a future key player in Mexican kindred politics. So naturally, he ran away.
Checks out.
the Sabbat are a massive presence in Mexico, and just the southern United States into Central America. At least in my mind, they are. And one day, a bunch of them just ran up, or not even them, but like their minions, be it, and they could be like zombie minions, or they could be like, just random gangers that they were like, here, go fight them. You're a vampire now, as Sabater want to do.
Shovel heads.
Yeah. But it was too much, and Raquel asked him to go and find somewhere safe, and she did something, and who knows? But he kept running. He did exactly what she said.
So he was wanting a way out, and then when she said run, he ran as far as he could.
He's like,
up into Texas, ran into somebody that sent him to Decatur.
some weird bruja over there.
Wait, you grow potatoes? Why
At a
do you
cow
grow
farm.
potatoes?
Hey,
Some
Jeremy,
weird bruja. That was yes.
quick question.
Yes.
What color best exemplifies your character?
I'd say like
Yes, I'm color coding this.
that's fine. I'd say the best color that color defines him is like a shade browner than his. I'll show you a picture that I have of him in a sec, but a shade browner than his skin tone. It's like a really dark brown that like borders on black.
Okay.
Not quite, just slightly lighter than my hair.
Mm-mm.
Kind of Sarah's hair tone.
Ah.
The gray? Just
No,
hidden by
it's
height?
not. It's not gray. Smartass. But yeah. So first chance he had to leave, he's like, "All right, I'm out," and went from there.
All right. And don't worry, Sarah, I believe you. My beard does not look gray in the camera, but when I look in the mirror,
Felt, seen, heard.
This is why I'm almost 6 foot, so no one can see my gray hair.
the clouds obscure their view down there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Iola. Tell us about your sire.
His name is Marcus, and he just kind of saw her strolling and thought she had promise and embraced her.
Okay.
She is from Nevada.
Ooh.
And she stood with him for like 8 months before she wanted to start traveling on her own.
Was he okay with that? Was there a bad split there?
Yes, he did not want her to go off on her own, and she left anyway.
Is there bad blood because of that? Would he be pissed off?
I mean, he would be upset, yes, that
Okay.
she did leave. But
Not like murderous. He's vowed to,
No.
Okay.
But he doesn't know where she's at currently, because she hasn't contacted him.
So upset she left. All right.
What's his name?
Marcus.
Okay. Just Marcus.
Just Marcus.
So Marcus from Nevada.
So I got him. That's how I wrote it down.
Starting the Rolodex.
So if you were to pick a character or a color for your character,
It would be.
yes, I'm doing this.
That's fine as long as you share your work when you're done.
Oh, I will. That's why I'm doing it in paint.
A magenta.
All right. Is there anything else about your sire you'd like to throw out?
Mm-mm.
Okay. All right, Walter. I feel like we've kind of gone over you. Oh wait, Duba's not here.
He has his headset on though.
Yes, I do.
Are you good, or are you like dealing with cats?
Officially not.
No, I'm good. I can respond.
Okay. I feel like we've kind of covered your sire a little bit, or your lack of knowledge about your sire.
Yeah, because again, I am again very keen on the thought and process of just turning around and saying like, yeah, he just got kind of screwed over by the happenings of Huntsville and the Camarilla.
Okay. So we'll,
Um,
and feel free to flesh this out as however you want to, if some idea occurs to you. But for the moment, I'm just going to kind of go with the theory. He was part of that mass embracing that Grandmother Dorcas was doing. So
Oh, yeah.
you probably saw your sire and kind of knew him on sight, but everything was so chaotic, and you were on the run almost as soon as you were halfway getting your footing. You were on the run because everything was over.
Yep, and basically nobody wanted to deal with him.
So unknown sire.
Yep. Unknown sire. Likely deceased, but who actually knows in the chaos that went on?
Exactly. There's so much potential for
It does leave me a little playground I can play in.
I mean, that
If
is the nice thing.
If we don't give our storyteller a couple of breadcrumbs here and there as he gives us some, what kind of players would we be?
Exactly.
Also, Sarah, color, Duba, color.
F it,
Green.
red.
Done.
I love how we picked the opposite color.
It fits. It fits.
I'm
Alright,
literally
so-
color coding the lines between the characters.
Oh no,
Oh,
I
sorry.
remember. I've heard you.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle. Who is your sire?
Who is? What is? What is happening?
Why?
Why is your sire?
Why is it
What
happening?
are those?
What are the? Yeah. His name is Brian Regan, or Reagan, however you want to pronounce the last name.
Any relation?
It'd be Regan, because Reagen.
Oh, that's how I had to spell it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Byron Regan.
Brian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
My lighting is not good, and neither is my eyes.
As I end up typing out brain, so
All right. And how well do you know him? Because gangrels a lot of times will drop somebody off and then come back later. Maybe.
well, with the typical gangrel methodology, he doesn't know his sire at all.
Okay. So your sire has not made his. That's right, because you're not really very old.
No,
So
he
your sire
hasn't
has not
gone.
made his return trip to check on you yet.
Nope, he hasn't.
Okay. Are there any details that you want to give me about him, or are you just giving me his name and let me run with it?
Either
way is fine.
The only detail that's kind of set in stone is the reason why Brian embraced Kyle is because he recognized that strong kind of predatory instinct in him. Because with him having a criminal background, he preyed on humans. Anyway, so he recognized that strong predatory instinct and turned him to see how well it would serve him as kindred.
Okay. So really, he saw him as it was really a matter of he saw you as the kind of person that would make a good gangrel,
Yeah, pretty much.
and to a lesser extent, probably a good vampire. Period.
Hmm.
Okay, because as good a reason to embrace as any. And
Push
doing
into
so
if
in
you're ready to
a
do so.
and doing so in an Anarch city, or at least the Anarch part of the city. Don't really have to worry about asking anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think that's got everybody's sires.
And I'll take blue, because why not?
It did feel very blue.
Da ba dee da ba da.
And that's all we can do for this.
Yep.
All right, and then we have sect supporting characters. All right, so every vampire except the merest child, which y'all are pretty close to merest children's, but not quite, has connections in their sect. Ask the storyteller for 2 local vampires, or take a connection from another character's sire or supporting cast. Oh yeah, with the sire you're supposed to have their name, clan, but they're your clan, so I don't see where that comes from. And year of embrace. So Walter would have no idea when his sire was embraced. Sarah, you told me kind of the range that yours was in.
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't know his. Jeremy, about how old was your sire?
Probably not super old.
Okay. Not
Like,
super old.
One generation above him, obviously. So
in Vampire speak, probably World War II-ish, kind of like Emma's was.
World War II-ish, or like somewhere in the Greatest Generation.
Okay.
World War II Mexico, probably not the same as World War II America, but that's something for me to research later.
Hey.
I want to say Germany was trying to talk Mexico into attacking the U.S.
Mexico post World War II got a lot of German immigrants. That's what I know post World War II. I don't know during World War II, but around that time frame. So could very well be either or.
All right. Iola, how old is Marcus? And if he never actually told you, that's fine as well. But given your generation, his would only be one higher. He couldn't be that old.
Yeah. He was turned about, say, 50 years ago.
Okay. Well, he might be a smidge younger than the other two, but not. Well, no, because they were turned post-war. Yeah. It's all kind of ballparky. All right.
Yeah, close. They were
not
turned
self-post.
post-war. Yeah, around the same age.
We'll say if the generational ages matter, Brian would be a Ancilla. He's 11th generation.
Yeah, he probably would be.
Yeah. So he has experience and has been around for a hot minute. Probably the same age as Samuel, roughly.
Okay.
And,
Yeah,
and Samuel was alive during World War II.
Yeah, because he was basically, you basically made him right on the borderline.
Yeah.
All right. So supporting characters. All right, I want each of this. Each of you needs to know 2 local vampires outside of the party itself. Let's see. I don't think anybody's sire is roaming around town.
As far as we know.
Yes, as far as you know. Okay, let me pull up a Google Doc right quick. All right. So the three big, I mentioned earlier, there were three big barons.
Mm-hmm.
There we are, movers and shakers. So the three most powerful barons in the city are Maddox Paget. He is the Baron of the Molten Heights barony. So kind of this part of town.
Which part? Oh, Molten Heights. Okay.
Yeah.
The one that's, yeah,
Molten Heights is technically a community, a little community that has never actually been incorporated into Decatur.
Mm-hmm.
The vampires don't care about that niceties of borders, but and his territory runs from Molten Heights up to more or less up to the river, kind of on this outer edge where Camarilla control territory is.
So that oddly Africa shaped highway stretch from 67 and 31. Like this and to here.
Not that low down, kind of over here.
Okay, so just where it says.
And there's a big chunk here in the middle that the Camarilla still controls. Basically, heading towards the Decatur Bridge at the north there.
That's where the majority of the fights are. The
Camarilla controls kind of that center section. They've got two baronies kind of coming on either side.
Ooh.
Everybody's kind of got a vested interest in the bridge because the Camarilla territories are cut off to the south. You can't go out of Decatur to the south without passing through Anarch territory. So it's almost like they're being squeezed right there. Where on the other side, well, that's Molten Heights. That's run by Maddox. He is a free Ventru, which is just what they call members of the Ventru clan that have joined the Anarchs. On the opposite side over here is the East Decatur barony. So that's like over here. If you remember in the last Chronicle when Blackjack went down into Decatur to talk to some Anarchs, had a meeting at this abandoned bank or credit union or whatever. That would have been over in the East Decatur barony. And he lays claim. And the baron is August Hoffman. He is a Bruja.
Hell yeah. I knew it.
But he is also a man of culture and grace.
Oh, so are true Bruja.
Well, no, a lot of the older Bruja were. They were warrior philosophers.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean the actual time machine Bruja.
Well, they're cold and emotionless. They're Spock. It's a little different. But anyway, he owns a large section of kind of this territory.
So he's on the other side of 31.
East of 31. Now, once you start getting down here close to the Wildlife Refuge, it breaks into a lot of them really small baronies and stuff. But though they all back him pretty, they're all pretty closely affiliated with him. Down here, toward the south, is the Wallace barony. And size-wise, it's quite a bit smaller. It's mostly on this side of the highway, but not the refuge. and just a little bit on the other side. And that is run by Sebastian Cologne, who is an Unchained Malkavian.
Cologne, like spelled like colon?
Like COLO with a little doohickey over it, N.
I feel offended that you called it a doohickey, but I understand what you mean.
The little over the O.
Part of me feels offended.
I'm a Bama. I barely speak English.
I
I
don't
don't know
have
what you want
my
for me.
I don't have my video up. Is it a tilde or a umlaut?
It's not. It's neither. It's a accent mark.
Accent. Okay.
What'd you call it? The Wallace Barony?
The Wallace Barony.
Barony?
A big section of it is something that used to be called the Laura B. Wallace Center. It was a mental health institute at one time.
Oh.
It's been shut
How
down for a while.
ironic.
He was living there from before it was shut down. Though.
Mm.
And like I said, territory wise, he doesn't have as big a territory as the other two. But he's got quite the reputation amongst the Anarchs. When he speaks, people listen.
One of those situations where we're like, we absolutely can't have him running around, but we absolutely can't let him go to the Camarilla.
He's been an Anarch for a good long time, even back before the split.
Mhm.
He has quite the reputation for self-control and kind of having it together.
All Malkavians think they have it together. Where are the Tremere? Which of these three baronies? Which one is more likely to have the Tremere presence?
Off the top of your heads, none of you have been here long enough to know of if there are any Tremere in the Anarchs around here.
Sure.
You haven't heard of any.
Okay.
There's some Tremere in the Camarilla territories for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure known because
though
they're
not a lot
Camarilla aligned.
Though not a lot, they got hit pretty hard when crap went bad.
Yeah.
Not as bad as Huntsville, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
The Camarilla territory has no prince. When it all kicked off, he met his final death, and the handful of Primogen that you have left, they work together fine when it comes to fighting the Anarchs, but they haven't been able to settle on who to put in charge.
Oh, there you Camarilla.
Now, other major baronies, you have what's known as the three outer barons. One control, I don't have their names written down yet. But one controls across the river. This is the little section over here that Decatur has claimed.
So I'm going to put River Barony.
Yeah, I think I may have. Yeah, somewhere I think I had jotted it down. But anyway, so like that part at Blackjack, and actually several of y'all, I think, or no, maybe it was just Blackjack that met there.
I think only Blackjack made the road.
That's right, because that was the spot where he made the arrangements to go. So that would have been at the edge of their territory. And then on the west side of the Wheeler National Wildlife Refuge, up here and down here are both separate baronies. Butted right up against Priceville. Priceville is its own city. It has a small Camarilla presence. It just does not have the human population to support a whole lot of vampires. So while they're technically, of course, allied with the Camarilla in your city, they're not actually doing a whole lot for fear of the Anarchs rolling over into them.
Subsuming it.
The next closest community would probably be Trinity, over here to the slight northeast. Again, small population, can't support a large population of kindred. They have always been unaligned. The Camarilla in recent years has started taking a hardline approach. You're with us or against us. But with the chaos going on in Decatur, Trinity's been sliding under the radar. If the Camarilla wins in Decatur, then they're going to have to start worrying. But for the moment, they probably favor the Anarchs, but they're not doing anything to get obviously involved.
You have names for those other two. So you had the barony up here. Did you have the names for the other two baronies next to the east of the National Wildlife Refuge?
No, and it was I think it was Eric that was dubbing that one up there, the north one, or the river one.
I called it the river.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it. Yeah.
Don't worry, I will get you those names.
I just put North and South Wheeler.
Yep.
That'll work for right now, especially. And then you've got these oddball little sections here that it's Decatur City but not connected at all. Those are mostly industrial areas. The Camarilla still controls them. They're only kind of important to them from the business standpoint, though. It's not that there's a ton of people.
Well, the factories are.
Yeah. Well, some there's some in the. Well, there's some just all along the river, but
Not point of sale, travel or shipping points.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the port of Decatur is a thing. All right. Now, I threw all that out there because I don't have an extensive list of the NPCs named yet.
Oh, that's what we're about to do right now. Is make up some NPCs.
You're about to start spouting off some NPCs to me.
Yes.
I still remember Bobby Bedlam from last game. So, I'm going to call on you, and you can, you can spout me off a full name, a clan. If you have that kind of idea, you can give me a general idea of somebody associated with this, or somebody that's at a certain rank within a barony, or maybe one of the barons. I know you're not going to be best buds with him, but you may know him and have some kind of relationship. So let's start off with Kyle, who's lived in the city the longest. Give me 2 vampire contacts you would have in the city. And I say vampire. It could also be ghoul, somebody's ghoul, or, but somebody in the know, not just a regular mortal.
Regular mortal. All right. Bet.
Irregular mortals.
If you're talking, we don't hear you.
No,
I think he's thinking.
Thinking?
tapping his chin.
And you say you're regular mortals. You notice Mooresville is still on the map.
Yeah.
It's actually closer to Decatur than it is to Huntsville. Well, closer to where Huntsville really is, not closer to the Huntsville border.
Yeah. While this is going on, I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
Well, this thing is his contact, like the only real, at least, say, background contact would be like criminal contacts for like mortal criminals.
Well, this is just another vampire that that you can look at, call by name, and y'all have some kind of history.
Okay.
Maybe somebody that's got an in with the police, though that would probably be Camarilla because they still control the police. But
yeah.
so there's a state trooper station in Decatur that is down in the Wallace Barony.
Hey, you can play those sides.
Is that trooper station Anarch control or?
Yes, Sebastian has that under his control.
Sebastian.
It's generally understood that he's got it under his control. That is the Baron of the Wallace Barony.
Which barony is closest to his bar?
That would be Maddox. That'd be the Molten Heights barony.
Trying to decide who in that barony he'd know, because he'd probably be operating closer to whatever barony is closest to his bar. Those are probably
would
the
be
ones.
Maddox.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out a name of like who would he know in that area. Like I don't know all the landmarks of Decatur. I'm not from there.
Even though you only probably live roughly 30 minutes or so away.
The only reason I really went to Decatur, like, but instead of just passing through it when I was driving to Arkansas, was because I wanted Whataburger.
There's one in Huntsville.
There is now. There didn't
Yeah,
I
used to
just said now there's one in Huntsville.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
remember
safe
when
to
the one in
say.
Decatur opened.
But
Huh. I have revealed a void, and gone.
My baby. He's not in the basket.
So, do you want to know somebody that's like in Maddox's court? Isn't the right word. It's not quite like the Camarilla, but
Inner circle.
because they still have people that are kind of like harpies. Most barons have somebody that goes out and tries to keep a count of how many people are in the domain.
Yeah, like if
And they have
he's-
their bully boys that, if there's a problem, this person goes and punches it till it goes away.
They got the problem solver.
Yeah. He'd probably try to at least keep some form of kind of in the know with those kind of folks in that closest barony there.
So, if you want, we can say that you know one of the census takers.
Okay.
Your bar being kind of in that open area, be the kind of place that they would regularly come through and basically just ask you if you've seen anybody new. Because as I mentioned before, Anarch territories tend to be a little overpopulated.
Yeah.
Got 4 people coming in, like, yeah, I saw someone new. It's this weird stiff who kept saying stuff.
Which barony was it for?
Molten Heights barony.
Okay.
What was the Baron's name again? Sorry.
Maddox Paget.
Maddox. What was that last name?
Paget. P-A-G-E-T-T.
Oh, I spelled that way wrong.
P-A-G-T-T.
P-A-G-E-T-T.
E-T-T. Okay.
Page TT.
Yeah.
Maddox Paget.
You said M-A-D-D-O-X? Maddox?
M-A-D-O-K. Maddox. Not Maddox. Maddox. Don't worry, you'll become very familiar with the name by the end of the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Or better
On the
or
last
worse.
day.
Yeah, you can feel free to make up a name for him, or I can slap a name on him later.
You're giving me a dangerous amount of power.
I mean,
As long as you don't do something like the guy at work last night. I was talking about the game to somebody else, and the new guy, asked me if I played much. And he started talking about a werewolf or a World of Darkness game he was in. He played a werewolf, everybody else was playing mages.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget what the name was, but his werewolf's name was a masturbation joke. I'm like, oh, you're like somebody I would never play with. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for the head up there.
Thanks for telling on yourself. I'm gonna go this way now. Bye.
Let's never meet.
So as long as you don't do something like that, whatever you want to call him. If you want to say his nickname is the Count because he's a census taker, we'll go with it.
Yeah, I'm just picturing the Sesame
the
Street
numerator.
puppet.
That one's the numerator, and then
The
you've got the
denominator.
enforcer buddy called the denominator. Yes.
Ah, math puns.
Enumerator and denominator. Is that what you
Uh-huh.
said?
You've got the numerator, that's the census taker, and then the
Numerator.
denominator is the enforcer.
All right. Well, we'll let you think about that.
You
We'll
know
come back
what?
to you for your second. Oh, what'd you get?
Brain. Numerator, Rachel. Denumerator, Dave.
Damn it, Dave.
It's got a good mark to it.
And Dave.
Dave the denominator.
The Dave nominator.
All right. So
At which point,
Dave is
Rachel's
going to
still
be
Coco like
Dave is going to be the tough, basically, the problem solver.
Yeah.
Okay.
and Kyle's probably just going to call them the numerator and the denumerator. That's his nicknames for him.
Love it.
Can we say, you a storyteller, that they kind of have an arrangement that if he sees anybody new and they can find them, then he gets paid for that?
Most kindred are just willing to be like, yeah, sure, money. You idiot.
They might be willing to pay you a little something. Because new people popping up is not a problem in and of itself. The people in charge just want to try to keep a handle on how many there are.
Yeah.
Now, if Dave is looking for somebody, then somebody has caused some problems.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And yeah,
If-
as far
if
as will they pay
If the
you? to help them-
if the denumerator comes looking.
Yeah, if Dave shows up, he understands this guy. This guy wants to be paid to help out.
Mhm.
So that's not a problem. All right. Egidio.
There you go, 2 kindred right there.
I think Egidio. I know you said. I think Egidio actually. I think he had not like a combative confrontation, but like a confrontation nonetheless with Sebastian Colon. Not like a fight, but like Sebastian, had an uncharacteristic like slip into the Malkavian, where it was like almost to the point of like being like telling a fortune, like, oh, you're going to be important here. I don't know why, but you will be. And that's the interaction that they had.
Okay. So you have met Sebastian. And he thinks
And then
you're
he just-
important.
And he like slips out of it real quick. Is like, and he goes back to his normal demeanor.
All right.
It
But I'm
looked
going
like
to say
obsession
that he
for a
always
second.
recognizes you and calls you by name when he sees you.
Yes.
It's not like he forgot that he had this impression of you.
No. He knows me by name. Whether that's good or bad, up to him.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had.
And you don't have to pick all. You don't have to all pick important people.
Yeah. I just wanted.
You can also
I wanted.
just be other folks in the, every man's territory.
Well, I think like attracts like as far as like finger waggler types. So while you said that like the Tremere, if there are any in Decatur, I actually think Egidio would have clocked one.
All right.
Not a
Anarch.
powerful Tremere.
Anarch, Camarilla, or you don't know.
I could be a sleeper agent, but
But
shows
you
Anarch-
met him in Anarch territory though.
Yes, clocked as an Anarch, but could be a sleeper agent.
All right. Do you have a name for your Tremere?
I will Solo. SOLO.
Solo cups.
Like tries to be a tough guy, but is a spellcaster, is a ritualist.
What's this dude's name again?
Solo, SOLO.
as in Han. but not.
I was going to suggest
in-
Hans
as
for his
in-
last name. Solo Hans.
As in cup? Solo cup?
As in cup.
Solo cups.
So no last name.
Let's
Or are you
go.
just are you just on a common if your first name
I
basis
just-
with him?
I just know I know him by Solo. So however whatever his last name may be,
Or maybe he's trying to sound cool with that kind of name.
yeah, he's like a lone wolf type.
And you said unknown
I'm
affiliation.
solo. So he's
Uh,
by himself.
Ostensibly Anarch, do not know for sure.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, yeah. I'll
Met
put
in-
unknown affiliation.
Met in Anarch territory.
Fair.
So he just said, I'm
I'm-
solo.
I met him in Anarch territory, and he wasn't getting the crap kicked out of him, so I assume he's an Anarch.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't being actively murdered.
I mean, you
Alright.
kicked his
Neither
ass
was
up.
Blackjack.
I mean, hey.
Not for lack of trying.
Waited until we got back to home territory for that.
All right, Iola. Who have you met while you've been in town? If you need a moment, I can go pick on Duba.
If she doesn't have, or if they don't have any ideas, I can go as well if you want.
Got any ideas, Rappy? You want me to go to
No.
somebody else?
I'm sorry. I didn't even think you said. I'm so exhausted. She would have probably ran into a what are they called? What was Blackjack?
A
Bruja.
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 Who she would have ran into a Bruja probably coming in,
Brouhaha.
basically.
Okay.
Dark
Uh-huh.
bait.
So just average guy, kid Bruja, roughly your equivalent, roughly your equivalent age-wise, or somebody older.
Probably a little older.
Okay.
Um,
And what was your interaction like?
just she met them when they were hunting when she literally came into town.
Okay. So it wasn't
That-
unpleasant.
Yeah.
So slightly older Bruja. Maybe he gave you the land, or she, whichever, gave you the lay of the land a little bit. As far as what was going to indicate, just the basics. Okay.
Yeah. And then she would have ran into a. I gotta sneeze.
Let's say any name for this Brouhaha.
Trying to.
Put your knuckle right here on your lip. You won't sneeze anymore.
What?
Right here.
All right. So older Bruja, man or woman?
Woman.
Okay.
And her name is. Sally.
Good old Sal. All right.
And then she would have ran into a.
I feel like you could have also run into Sebastian if you really wanted.
A Toreador.
Ooh.
Well, Rappy had already mentioned that Iola hadn't really
Had
buddied
not.
up with any of the Malkavians already
Gotcha.
in town. So.
Gotcha.
All right. What were you saying there, Rappy?
A Toreador.
Okay. Toreador. Man or woman?
Let's make this one a man. and his name Hank.
Okay. And what was the nature of the interaction?
When she went to go looking for where the Baron was, she ran into the Toreador.
Okay.
That was in the building where the Baron was.
All right. So helped introduce you to the Baron.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Emma.
Quick question in regards to the Baronries.
Mhm.
Do they give off any kind of particular vibe of like this one seems to be a little bit more troublesome, this one they're strict or whatever, anything like that? Or just we haven't been there kind of long enough to get a vibe for that?
The very, very general vibe you get
Mm-hmm.
is that Maddock can be a little bit of a hard ass. Most folks don't seem to hate him or anything. He doesn't have a reputation for being like terribly unfair. He's just don't take a whole lot of crap. You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, he's very big on we are at war. You know, you got to tighten up right now. August over at East Decatur, he has a little bit more of a reputation for being likable. He seems to be a little bit more of like the speech giving, manifesto writing sort of revolutionary. But still having a reputation for running a fairly tight ship. But again, you're in the middle of a war. Sebastian is basically like the respected old man of town. He's been here longer than most everybody. You know, he basically ran his little area when the Camarilla was here, and it's flat out his barony now.
Okay.
Never been one for making big power plays, like trying to gain more power. Always been kind of in an advisory role.
Okay.
But also an old school anarch that like writes. He may write speeches more than he gives them. You know, pamphlets back when that was kind of the thing you did.
Maybe know someone in Maddox's kind of inner circle.
Okay.
Before she thought better of it, she may have encountered them when injured and healed them. And for them to kind of keep that secret, or you know, to be able to use it, she made up kind of a deal where if shit goes sideways, they would give her protection.
Okay. Have a name for this person?
Find random name generators. Jack.
Jack.
No particular clan, so I'll let you pick that if you want.
He was just a random somebody that you probably ran across the aftermath of a fight.
Yeah.
You helped him
You
out.
know they're a kindred. You don't know what kind they are.
Yeah.
Does
Just
he know
that-
for sure what you are? Or does he just think you're somebody with a weird power? Because there's lots of rumors about Salubri going around, but your kind of average kindred doesn't necessarily know a whole lot about it. You know, other than they steal your souls.
Yeah, of course, the soul stealing bit. She probably has not revealed the eye to anyone present in Decatur as much as possible. Like, is constantly wearing hat, beanie, scarf, just walking around like this a lot. Probably tried to brush it off as being in the medical field in her past life.
Okay.
But, you know, kind of put it out there like, hey, you know, if shit goes sideways or I need somewhere to come to, I can give you guys. This is what I can offer.
Basically, you did him a solid. He's kind of got the understanding, yeah, if you need somebody to lay low.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not, going out for coffee and tea and all that, but if
and I'll pick
they
some
needed help.
position that he's got with Matic.
Okay.
It won't be like his right-hand man, but,
Yeah, no.
somebody in that general circle. All right, and who else have you run into?
What's the thin blood population out here like?
They have all flocked to Jolie.
Not
Thin
as
blood queen.
not as thick as you would expect. Usually they flock to Anarch cities because the Camarilla cities are so hostile to them. But yeah, Huntsville is oddly accepting of them.
Yeah,
Real
damn
history.
right.
So
Queen Jolie!
They're still a decent
Yeah,
thin blood
damn right.
population.
Maybe just in her same apartment complex, she's run into one, and they've like, hey, same hat kind of thing. Like they both kind of recognize the otherness. Not to the point of having each other's back or having to have each other's back, but just kind of watching out for each other, but not watching out for each other. Like feeling each other
Would
out as
warn
far
you,
as
hey, somebody's been watching your apartment if they notice.
yeah, like
But not necessarily gonna go
hey,
help you fight whoever's watching your apartment.
yeah, like would just give each other heads up of stuff going on maybe in the apartment complex, especially if it would be happening during the day, so they can go somewhere else during the day.
Does this thin blood have a name?
We'll call her Amelia.
Okay. So thin blood neighbor. All right.
They both kind of have the understanding that, because she's Sandman, so I don't know what Amelia would be, but they have an understanding that if they both hunt in this area, they, don't. They figure out a way to not double tap somebody.
All right, and Walter, who have you met in Decatur?
Well, that's a good question. I can definitely tell you probably somebody at the local NOS group. Now, whether or not you wish that to be one of the Barons or just one of the many poor sods that, like Daryl Walter, got screwed over with the Camarilla and decided to hide in the underground and crypts of the realm known as Decatur. But so I'll let that be to your discretion.
All right, so but either an Anarch or somebody that fled from Huntsville like you.
Yeah, we can let that be either one.
All right.
Or we can do both contacts that way. However you feel like doing. Because I'm trying to think, I wouldn't really know what kind of other vampire he would run into, because again, kind of had hard to hide the fact to which you are a hulking SOB walking the streets.
Well, you have met all the players, of course, by this point as well.
Oh yeah, well I mean,
all right, so a NOS contact.
Some of the other vampires may be looking for a hulking SOB.
Yeah.
No matter how ugly they are.
Yeah. Tell you what, we'll do one NOS contact, and for the funsies, we'll do a Malkavian contact.
Okay.
Another Bobby Bedlam.
All right,
well,
so are there
let's
any
see.
specifics you want about the Malk? And any specifics you don't come up with, I can do if you want me to.
Specifics about the Malkavian? Probably the simple fact to which, Walter was just kind of heading out at night, using unseen passage to just try to stay hidden, and probably came across we'll say not necessarily an older gentleman, probably somebody that's got like a salt and pepper look, so they were probably, we'll say, close to their 50s, maybe hitting their 60s. And, he's just trying to be quiet and kind of hide around. Malkavian just kind of, almost like a Jack Sparrow-esque kind of thing, of just spun around like, well, hello, matey. And just like, no. Wait a minute. Last time I checked, I figured out how to not be seen. How'd you do that?
So
Right.
So you met a Malkavian that just spotted you.
Yeah, it's because he's been trying his best to just stay hidden and not be seen by people to the
Alright.
best of his ability.
Do you care what
And
his
the
name is?
Malkavian, we'll go with Colin Moore, and I don't. You can do it the Moore however you wish to spell it. I don't know if there's
Okay.
multiple ways.
Colin Moore.
Sure, a
is.
couple of.
And did you want a name for your NOS contact?
Last name, can't think of one, but we'll do Jet, just Jett.
Okay.
Jet.
Yep.
All
If you
right.
want to give him a last name, can. If not, we can just call him Jet.
Well, if he's on the run like you, he may be like Walter and really only remember his first name.
Fair enough.
I wanted to amend something with my Tremere contact.
Mhm.
I want not amend because he's still, ambivalent to whatever or it's up in the air where his loyalties lie. But I want the interaction to be something like they watched me work almost supernaturally with maybe a dead body, like hiding a body, and they were like, "How'd you do that?" And then we talked, and oh, you're a ritualist. I'm a ritualist. Neat.
So you each have a curiosity about the other one's form of magic, essentially.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a common interest. You have a common interest with him.
Common interest, and I think to the point where he may have tried to float the offer of like, can you do that with a body that I accidentally killed? But
All right.
up
So
in
that
the air.
is everybody's. All right. Everybody's got 2 vampiric contacts now.
Hey, Dewey, you said Jet was a Nosferatu that fled Huntsville as well?
Well, I was leaving it really up to Jason's discretion on whether or not he would like it to be someone of one of the barons or one of the Nosses that fled from Huntsville.
Okay.
So we can let that swing either way, but from the sound of things, he's one to make it the one that fled.
That's kind of where I'm leaning. Now, like I said, it's up to you. However you
Oh,
want to do
no.
it.
Like, again, at this point, as I'm sure y'all have noticed, I am flying by the seat of my pants when it comes to the description and storytelling of this character. I'll mold it better as I go, but for right now, I had enough of bare bones to be like, here, I at least can present you as roughly what could be graded as a C.
Well, Ravi was talking like you were still until like yesterday or today debating what clan to be. So
Yeah.
you've got a pretty coherent ideal. So
Yeah. You're doing.
You know,
you're
like
doing
once
great,
I actually like figured out the concept of the character, like what in the story is he going to do for the group? He's the ambush predator. Fantastic. I got an idea.
all right, so that pretty well completes the relationship map. Let me double check and make sure there's nothing else. That looks pretty
Awesome.
good. After that, it just goes into the into the actual character creation. But y'all have already mostly got your points and stuff allotted. Did anybody have any questions or anything they needed to ask about character creation? I know all of you have been through it before, so.
I just want to double check and make sure each point of, say, obfuscate, I have 3. What does that entail allow me to do? And if you're curious as to why I have 3, again, naturally you pick 2 for one, 1 for another. But because of the Sandman, it allowed me to either pick another obfuscate or an auspec. And I said, screw it. I'm already an obfuscate. Let's go ahead and just buff that up and be doing stuff at,
Well,
Well, he have
any
3
of your
powers.
or is there's like a certain range of how that can be picked? I just want to make sure so that way I can.
Basically, the thing is for every level you have in a discipline, you can have a power that kind of fits into that slot. So for your first rank, you can take one of the level 1 powers for obfuscate.
Yeah.
For the second rank, you can take a level 2 or a level 1 power.
Okay, so I could have picked either or, but I can do the max of 2 or pick the other level 1.
So for rank 3, you can take a level 3, level 2, or level 1 power.
Okay.
And with a lot of your powers, you'll have to roll the dice pool. So that's 3 that go into your dice pool.
Okay. I'll look back over them, see if they have any particular attributes that are associated with them. Most of them look like they didn't really have anything because it falls under the premise of how you detect obfuscate targets anyway. So it was mainly I just noticed stuff that would be a detection and not something I have to personally use in order to actually make the roll or to make it work.
Yeah, right.
But I just wanted to clarify each dot. Do I get 1 per? And can it go up and down?
You get 1 per dot.
Okay, I just want to make sure, just so I didn't I'm already kind of breaking something at the start and not realizing I screwed up.
All right, what is your let's just go around the table, and some of you already mentioned it, but what is your predator type? Iola.
Alley cat.
Again?
Nothing else really called to me.
Nah, that's fine. Walter, what is your predator type?
As I said, Sandman. I did throw 2 flaws at that, and the 2 flaws being I am picky about not taking or getting blood from 2 particular sources.
Prey exclusion.
Yes, prey exclusion.
Right.
Those would be I don't care to go for drug users, and I won't do children.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh yeah, I have the prey exclusion children.
All right, Kyle.
Yeah, he's an alley cat. He hunts humans for food.
Any prey exclusions?
Children.
Okay.
Pretty
We all have
common
children.
here.
I think everybody has prey exclusions children.
I don't have prey exclusion children, but it might as well be a chronicle tenant at this point.
Yeah.
Emma, what do you got?
Sandman with prey exclusion of children.
Okay.
You got it?
Egidio.
Yes.
Egidio.
Bagger. Specifically, and this is where I can finally do this towards the end of our session. I was influenced by my. I'm gonna go into an anecdote here. My first real day on the job at the factory, I immediately donated blood like 20 minutes into my shift. So taking inspiration from that, when I finally regained consciousness, I think Egidio has a good ear on the local blood drives. It just takes a little off the top.
Okay.
A nice boy that works for at the Red Cross.
Yeah.
So one more question for you, Sarah. You said earlier that you had not revealed that you were for sure a salubri to anybody in Decatur. That includes the players, correct?
Yeah, she hasn't. She pretty much is at all times wearing a hat.
Okay.
Ooh, you're the Jedi this game.
Well, she is trying to not get found out. She's looking for the other salubri just by kind of listening, but she doesn't know if they're still in town or anything like that.
This is not the vampire. I am not a salubri.
Oh, while we're talking about stuff for characters, 2 things about Kyle. that kind of fit into his kind of theme. One, the whole thing about not being controlled, he does have bond resistance.
Okay. That fits in with it conceptually.
Also, he has the merit of Bloodhound.
Now, what does that do?
Out for a
Is that
gangrel.
literally a tracking thing, or?
It as long as he is within olfactory sense of kind, he can figure out what their blood resonance is just by being able to smell them.
Oh, okay.
So he can hunt down specific blood resonances when he's hunting.
That could be useful. All right.
Which is why his awareness specialty is scent.
Now, one thing I want to bring up
Mhm.
is, of course, with Duba and Rappy being on the swing shift, they're going to be with us. What is it? Are you going to be with us 2 weeks and off 2 weeks?
No. Okay, so Duba's gonna stay on days until July.
Okay.
The swing shifts is every 4 weeks.
Okay, so it's 4 on, 4 off.
Yes. So after this week, I'll be gone for 4 weeks. Then I'll be back for 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I will be back to game February 7th.
Okay. We will probably, via the Discord or whatever, have to cook up a reason why your character is disappearing and reappearing.
And if you need me to roll dice, let me know, and when I roll them, I'll let you know what I got.
Malkavian shit.
Quite
Lots
possibly.
of
Yeah.
heavy shit to do.
The voices said I needed to go this way.
I was supposed to say that might be the caveat and the beauty behind being Malkavian is just
And
the
that's
fact that
also why I
you know what?
chose
Whee!
Malkavian, because I won't be here half the year.
Ravnos could have worked too.
Could have.
Well,
But,
Cavian's cool.
I mean, yeah, there could have been, staying in one spot too long. Just moving all the time, but I just kind of wanted to try Malkavian because it was one of the choices last year between Gangrel and Malkavian. So.
Yeah. Do it up.
All right. Now,
It's a
as
fun
far
group.
as your coterie,
Oh yeah, good point.
when you build a coterie, every player gets 1 coterie dot. So as a group, you've got 5 to play with.
Yeah.
Where is the coterie creation stuff? Let me jump up here to the table of contents. Since I realized very quickly with my red lights I couldn't half read the book in my hand, so I had to bring it the PDF.
Also, I have the premonition power. For aspects.
Okay.
So
That's the one that
it's
I can
when it-
trigger it when I feel like it.
yes. Or if I want a force trigger, I gotta do a rouse check.
Yep. Somebody had
Yeah,
that last game.
Me.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Did it again technically last game as well.
I mean, you had it also last game too, Deca.
I did not take that.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, I was the
No.
only one with Auspex.
Oh no.
We're
I
talking
have
about
the,
premonition.
Like you literally was able to talk to somebody, aka in the Star Wars one, like your dead sister. Or,
Yeah.
Oh, they were saying you had a similar power in the previous campaign, but not the
Yeah.
previous vampire game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Either way, like for nearly two games, you basically had the ability of DM, give me the ability to know something. Ah.
Anyway, let's get back to it.
Sight.
We got like 15 minutes.
Yep.
So you got 5 points to spend for the coterie on coterie backgrounds. One something you can spend on. Let's see. On your domain, you can spend points for how big it is. 1 dot would be like 1 city block, 1 suburban gated community. 2 dots would be like 4 blocks, 1 park, a small like tourist trap, a hospital, a mall, that sort of thing. I'm going to tell you now, hospitals are off limits for story reasons. Basically, they're all under Camarilla control still.
Oh, well, fair enough.
3 dots is like 8 blocks of both sides of a major street. Honestly, I wouldn't suggest getting any higher for y'all, since y'all are supposed to be rookies.
Yeah.
And then you've got Portalon. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. And that trait describes how secure your domain is. I know you had a few points in that for the Jones Valley coterie.
Yeah.
It basically gives you bonuses to pick up on intruders, and it makes it harder for them to like spy on you and all this kind of stuff. Let's see. Then you've got coterie types, which gives you a suggestion of things you can buy, and you can also buy like just regular backgrounds that fits on this stuff.
Yeah.
So the coterie could have an enemy, the coterie could have a herd, etc., etc. What is the lean?
That's sort of how integrated you are.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah,
Also, probably not going to be
one
super high for us.
that one actually does have mechanical importance.
Yes, it does not help
lean
you.
and
It does
portal.
not help you with like hunting roles specifically, but any other kind of interaction with people in that area. Like Kyle would have a bonus, even though he's creepy. He's the creepy guy that runs the bar that everybody knows about, though. That's in the area.
Yeah.
The guy taking out the trash from Chick-fil-A's are going to freak out when they see Kyle because Kyle's the guy that owns the bar over there.
Might give him the willies, but knows where he stays. He stays over there. I stay over here.
He's that tough character, but he's that tough character you're used to because he's always been in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I had an idea that I wanted to float that ties into something in video. I mentioned earlier about my predator type.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to float it to whoever is the more influential type, which is probably Gidio himself. Just like has a Red Cross truck that comes by every week, somewhere, just wherever our domain is, just like has it pull up to a different property, and then that's
Illegal
his
blood drives.
That's his hunt.
I don't know
It's hunting
I don't
into
know.
blood drives.
I don't know how they do it in Texas. Around here, you have a lot of blood drives have buses that pull up to places.
Yes, that is exactly
and
what
the
I did.
mall parking lot that the bar is connected to hosts that fairly regular.
Yes, there we go. That'll do it.
And then you just dominate their minds.
Mostly during the day, but
They might leave something behind.
And during the winter, especially, it may be dark before they leave.
Are we doing this where there's going to be time skips like we did during the River Valley?
We'll be starting up probably in February.
Okay, so it would be winter.
Yes, when we start, yes.
Like stalking, it's like Egidio's harvest before the sun. Like gathering nuts like a squirrel.
The fur coat helps make him look like a squirrel.
Yeah.
What's your charisma at anyway, Deca?
Yours is much higher than mine. Go back. Mine is 2 dots, but I have balanced stats in social, but my specialty is dexterity.
All right.
Actually,
Now back to your back to
Yes.
the
Domain.
coterie. What do you want to spend your points on? Do you want a domain?
well, so the whole point of the blood drive thing was to say that's my herd.
Do you have
Oh.
herd? Do you have the herd background specifically for your character?
No, I do not.
So that is something you would like to take for.
For the coterie.
All right, so that'd be 1 point in herd. All right.
If that is okay with everybody else. This is a group effort, of course.
I mean,
Technically, I think each of you is in charge of your own point.
Okay. Then,
But I mean,
yeah,
there should be
my
there should be
contribution.
some discussion and stuff. But I mean,
Then that would be the thought that he would
all right.
like.
All right. So Jeremy would like 1 point of herd.
Mhm.
Sarah, what would you like your coterie point spent on?
The security.
All right. I forget which one was that. Ah, yes. Okay, Kyle.
Trying to decide between Chas or Portolon. Because him being him, it's security or this is my damn domain.
Well, to take the security thing, you kind of have to have at least one dotted domain.
I was
Fair.
fixing to say we haven't actually said how large we want it yet. We still have to sacrifice points as to that.
Come back to me.
Kind of sacrifice.
I want to see where everyone else puts their stuff at.
Walter, where would you like to put your point?
Well, as we stated, obviously we at least need a point to domain. So if I have a point to throw, it'll be there.
So a point in Chas or Chase, or however you pronounce that. All right, and now 1 point in that gives you like one city block, one suburban gated community.
Have a gated community. That's totally fine. Makes it all the more reason for the Red Cross to show up.
In that section of the city, though, not really.
I don't know. The ledges were.
It'd be like an apartment area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that this is giving just a rough ideal. It varies a lot from place to place. It's just giving you a rough ideal. Like I would probably put the Decatur Mall in the 1 point because it's not as big as malls in some other cities. But it could also be like I know there's like a retirement apartment complex thing close to the mall, the Presbyterian Towers or whatever it's called. So something like that, even though geographically it's a very small area, high concentration of people. But anyway, so you've got at least 1 point in there.
Yeah, that is one thing it mentions is underneath that is dots need not always translate to size. Obviously, a smaller domain in a rich hunting area has a higher Chas than a large domain in a desolate or empty part of the city.
Yeah.
Like in the Huntsville game, we had a massive domain, but not a lot of hunting ground.
I don't know what you were talking about. There were a bunch of deer in that area.
Some that
There were.
decided to sucker punch Jolene occasionally, but you know.
There were, and I was driving home through that area one night, and there was one less deer afterwards. And I had one less car.
The deer giveth and the deer taketh away.
Yeah, they assholes like that.
Eric, were you gonna put your point somewhere else now that you know that we have at least one dot in domain?
I was like, come back to me last, and I'll.
Okay. Rappy, where would you like to put your point? And remember, you can buy regular backgrounds with it. Well, like Jeremy put a dot in herd. You can put a dot in contacts. You can put a dot in followers. At least I think followers is the background.
Let's do another dot in security.
Alrighty. So 2
No
dots
one's getting in
there.
our little gated area.
Well, that's
Very
4 of the points
explosive
then.
blood drive.
Kyle
So-
or Eric, where do you want to put yours?
So again, we got herd. We got 1 for domain, 2 for security.
Mhm.
So, unless you feel like upgrading to at least 2 city blocks,
With the 1 point in Chos that we have now, what does our hunting grounds look like?
A
I would
gated
give you.
community?
I would give you the mall and kind of the surrounding area. So your bar, the Chick-fil-A, whatever other restaurants are kind of outside the edge of the mall itself, maybe that next parking lot over, which I know isn't actually helping you, but I'd have to pull you up a map later. But it'd be that
That's-
kind of area. I mean, that's city blockish sized.
Now that's the thing though is if it is the mall, they don't stay open terribly late. I don't believe.
Is it just being
You'd have to do your hunting real early or catch a straggler.
also COVID times?
Yeah.
That too.
Not that we as
To be
characters know
fair,
that.
that would not be something your characters would have any concept of. None of you are
Yeah.
old enough to remember the last pandemic.
but I mean, if we wanted to upgrade and maybe absorb in a tall standing
more
apartment
areas.
complex or 2. you
Okay,
know.
the Decatur Mall presently stays open until 9 p.m.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's about average.
Get your hunting done when you wake up. at
And
like
you would have workers,
7.
Janitorial workers, people cleaning up in the, you'd have people there later than that coming and going.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
People even
Uh,
out the side doors.
Mm-hmm.
As for me and Zay, we have the wonderful thing of we just gotta catch a stupid SOB sleeping.
Gotta catch them sleeping.
And keep in mind, this will be a domain that'll be cut out of what had been kind of the open hunting ground. So you've still got open hunting ground around you. You just wouldn't get the bonus for it, being in your domain if you had to go out that way.
See, I'm stuck between growing it. Oh well, that's the thing is if we had it in our domain, there's the hunting difficulty too.
Mm-hmm.
I forget if it's in our domain, would make the difficulty go down or make it worse?
Well, 1 point in Chos is a difficulty 6 hunting within the domain by default, and then each point added to it reduces it by 1.
And don't
I'd
forget,
go
you can
with
also take
that.
things like allies.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean-
stuck. I'm stuck between putting a second point in Chos or putting 1 into lean.
Influence it's also not a bad one.
I mean, again,
Something we can upgrade with our points later, right? With
Yes,
our
I believe so.
experience.
Oh,
So
right.
it
we can
could be
actually
just
read it
where
too.
we are right now when we start the story, and we can grow it as we go.
Yeah, so with us being young and kind of scattered as far as just coming into the city, we might not have a lot of influence in general to
Yeah.
begin
Well,
with.
and like I said at the very beginning, we're going to go through the first 2-ish, maybe 3-ish sessions. The first story,
True.
basically. And you're not really going to have your domain at that point. Assuming y'all don't, set the city on fire. You'll basically be like awarded, or your
That's
claim
true.
over the territory will be recognized kind of at the end of that.
Yeah, and lean is how well you're integrated into your domain, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense if we had that immediately. All right, yeah, so let's put a second point into Chos.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to say you have the whole mall area
Mhm.
and the apartment complex that I mentioned that's like kind of right behind.
Okay.
And probably the fire. I mean, I'll look at what else is in that little area, that little next step over.
And having the apartment complex gives a place for the Sandman hunters to hunt as well.
The sand peoples.
Mm-hmm.
And that does reduce
No
the base
relation.
difficulty by 1 to 5. So
It's just funny because literally, if you depending on which one you choose, since I chose stealth to get a specialty in, I get break in. So it's just like, well,
Same.
it's like, well, time to get in here. Imagine my big guy trying to use a lockpick. It's just like, nah. Don't worry,
Hey.
I'll call maintenance for that door later.
Hey, Deca.
Yes.
Looking at the map, there is a blood center in the domain. Life
Perfect.
South Community Blood Center, Blood Bank.
There we
I had
go.
forgotten about that. Yep.
Wow,
That's probably why they
that
took the
played
bus
out
there.
better than we thought.
That
So
played out
just-
so perfectly for all of us.
Just to see, as base roll,
I forget, what is the dice in this one?
D10.
D10s.
D10s.
that would not be a successful hunt. I would have missed it by 3.
Well, we'll keep going
Yeah,
as
you
we
can't
go.
win them all.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just that is one thing that Emma will be making sure is that everyone eats, because if she uses a power and someone is at hunger 4 or more, they have to roll to make sure they don't frenzy.
She smells
Ooh.
extra tasty.
She smells like a Capri Sun. She is a snack, literally, because she might get eaten.
Thinking back to Alexander and his rasa, he just picks up.
Hold my
occasionally
rat.
Hold my rat. I need to take a sip.
All
This
right.
is cool.
Well, that's got y'all's backgrounds fleshed out to some degree. We have introduced one another to the characters. We have got at least the basis for your domain once you get a domain. Or I should say your coterie setup. So I think we're going to wrap here for now, and then we'll be back in well, most of us will be back in a week. And we'll let you start
Yay.
earning your domain.
A
How very Camarilla of you.
We have a Waffle House and a Popeyes in our future domain.
Life is good.
Yeah,
you
we can't
eat
eat
any of
at
that
it,
stuff, but it's still good. So anyway, for everybody, I hope y'all had fun. I enjoyed this as much for the anticipation of what's coming as anything. Hope any of y'all that came and hung out in the chat, hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you'll be back. Any of y'all that come by and watch or listen to this later, I hope you'll join us throughout the rest of the year. And until then, I guess we will see y'all next time.